What was that?
I'm sorry, I'm not calling the police, I swear.
Slide it over now or we kill you!
I can't. Because it's...
What is it?
It's time to be real.
This app, at its best, truly encourages us to abandon the superficial to focus on ordinary things. Going further, this social network pushes us in a way to get back to the basics, taking a fresh look at the trivial, taking inventory of what we see without passing any judgment. This, perhaps, is the whole BeReal project. That's a quote from a French media company's article published on May 27, 2021. They're talking about a new social media that's been on the market for a little over a year and gaining traction quickly in the European market. What they didn't know was that in 14 months, that same app would sit as the #1 free app on the App Store worldwide. That app is BeReal, also coined the anti-Instagram because of its push towards authenticity. While you might scroll through Instagram and think to yourself that you live the lamest life ever, BeReal is attempting to challenge that, mostly by proving to you that your friends are typically either laying in bed, sitting at their desk, or eating mediocre food. In this video, I'm going to dive into the rise of BeReal, the oddly mysterious masterminds behind it, and how it came to be worth $600 million. Before we jump into it, I just want to give a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed. We recently passed 800, which I was really excited to see. I hope you enjoy the video. BeReal was developed in France by Alexis Berriat and Kevin Perrier. It's unclear how the two of them met or what exactly they did before BeReal because for the most part, they've refused to talk to the media. Even though they're running the most talked about tech startup, nearly every attempt to interview them has been unsuccessful. Almost all of what I've found has been compiled from French and English news articles, the founders' Twitter and LinkedIn profiles, and tweets they've liked and replied to in the years past. So now, let's piece it together. The founders were both students at a school in Paris called 42 between 2014 and 2016. 42 is a private tuition-free computer science school that was founded and funded by French billionaire Xavier Niel. He's known for founding a French internet service provider called Iliad, and his net worth sits around $10 billion. After graduating from 42 in 2016, Alexis took a job in media production with GoPro France before leaving in 2018. At the same time, he was working to build his first startup, but no, it was not BeReal. Presumably leaving GoPro to build it, the app was called HearShot and launched October 1st, 2018. HearShot let you send voice messages to your friends' phones that would play out loud even if the app wasn't open or the phone was locked. It was meant to act as a modern-day walkie-talkie of sorts, but fizzled out by the end of 2018. But it was just 6 months after the fall of HearShot that Alexis and Kevin started the development of a new app called BeReal in June of 2019. So how did BeReal get off the ground? Development on the app began in France and it took about 6 months before it was on the App Store by December of 2019. And contrary to what it might seem like, it was far from an overnight success. By March of 2020, BeReal had a whopping 100 users. 3 months after launching, it was still mainly used by just the founders and their circle of friends. Things only started to change about a year after they launched in the winter of 2020. That's when the company was accepted into a startup incubator based in Paris, France called Hook. Hook is a 3-month program that's designed to mentor founders and help them with networking, sales, growth, strategy, and fundraising. They invested $50,000 into BeReal for a 5% stake in the company. You could say that Alexis and Kevin's schooling at 42 paid off because Hook almost primarily invests in students or alumni of the school. This seems like it was a major turning point for BeReal and would soon become a big part of their success that was just around the corner. BeReal began spreading throughout France and the rest of Europe, starting a slow climb and hitting 10,000 daily users by March of 2021. That put them as the number 19 social media app on the App Store, and it was only the beginning. People were mainly attracted to the app because of their unconventional approach. While other apps were paying teams of psychologists to hack our brains into getting addicted, BeReal marketed themselves as the polar opposite. One of their early tweets even read, "BeReal is down so you can spend more time with your friends and family in the real world. You're welcome." This push of authenticity was a unique take from a tech company, made people feel good about using it, and ultimately pushed them to share it with their friends.
It's amazing. It's this app that blew up over the summer. It's the only honest social media.
Within just 3 months, BeReal went from 10,000 daily users to over 300,000 in June of 2021. However, at this point, nearly all of its growth was still happening in Europe. It started taking off in the US after they started their college ambassador program, hiring students on campuses around the US to promote the app, which began in February of 2022. Ambassadors would host parties, visit fraternity and sorority houses, hand out gifts like pizza and energy drinks in exchange for downloading the app, and promote BeReal in any other capacity at their universities. To say that the strategy worked would be an understatement. That same longing for authenticity and the good feeling that users got from sharing the app with their friends that spread the app so quickly throughout Europe caught on in the States. BeReal shot to the number 4 free app on the App Store, which caught the eyes of some big shot investors. In April of 2022, the founders raised $30 million in a funding round, led by the same venture capital firm who were also early investors in Airbnb, Facebook, Lyft, and Pinterest. While BeReal was busy expanding their corporate team and hiring more ambassadors, investors were licking their chops to get a seat on board before the rocket took off. Just 1 month later, despite still not making a single dollar in revenue, BeReal raised another $85 million, which pushed the company's valuation to $600 million. That put the value of the $50,000 that was first invested by Hook around $30 million. And just a little over a year after BeReal hit their first 10,000 users, it became the number 1 free app in the world with over 1.7 million downloads in the week of July 11th, 2022 alone. Looking back at the history of social media, one thing becomes very clear. BeReal is not a revolutionary idea. There's been plenty of apps that have come before them trying to sell the idea of authenticity, or at least as authentic as you can possibly get while sharing photos online. One of the most recent, which you might have heard of, was called Dispo and was co-founded by David Dobrik. The app had a similar goal of BeReal and let users take unfiltered photos that only became available at 9 a.m. the next day. David compared the app to the ending scene of The Hangover, where friends could relive what would otherwise have been forgotten memories, and what they got is what they got.
Oh dear Lord!
Dispo caught a ton of buzz throughout mid-2021 and also briefly touched the number 1 spot on the free app store, but has since fallen off the list entirely. Going back even further, you'll find an app that's eerily similar to BeReal called Frontback, which became popular in 2013. Frontback let users take unfiltered photos in the moment using both their front and back camera. However, instead of launching their own social media platform, Frontback only let users share their photos to other social media sites. The company even raised $3 million and walked away from a potential acquisition by Twitter for around $40 million before peaking at 2 million users and shutting down in 2015. There's 3 key aspects to BeReal that's made it so popular and pushed its current valuation to well over $500 million. Social media has become increasingly exhausting. What started as a way to stay connected with friends and family has become something that's much darker. Users now have little control over the content that they watch. Within 2 minutes, you can watch 20 videos spanning from the looming threat of nuclear war to a cute dog to someone dying from an incurable disease. You might also see content talking about how some platforms are the cause of depression in children, grow by promoting hate and controversial content, and sell your personal data to anyone with a credit card before closing the app 2 hours later in what felt like 15 minutes. BeReal is sorta like being on Facebook shortly after it launched. An app completely stripped of the filters, celebrities, and gurus trying to sell you conflicting information on how you can make your life better.
Knowledge.
You see, the less friends you have on BeReal, the more fun it becomes. It's the only social media app where users aren't embarrassed to post an unflattering picture of themselves sitting on the couch and get 0 likes or comments. For being the social media app that's produced the least amount of viral moments, BeReal's been shared by millions in other places. That's because the app itself confirms someone's values. It makes people feel good about using it, being their true self, and standing up to the other social media platforms for the reasons mentioned before. This propelled BeReal to the masses because their early adopters were able to share that feelings with their friends and so on. Beyond that, ironically, one of the biggest drivers of BeReal's growth is TikTok. Viral videos of users getting creative with their BeReals and asking strangers to take their photos for them racked up tens of millions of views and inevitably drove new users to the app. So what's next for BeReal? An uphill battle. As of January of 2023, it's dropped to the number 50 free app on the App Store and has yet to make a single dollar in revenue. The question is, how would they? The classic social media model of farming data and selling ads would go against everything the app supposedly stands for. Once the novelty wears off, will people still come back to see daily photos of their friends laying on the couch or sitting at their desk? Or do the highly addictive, dopamine-driving, data farming apps only exist because they're just that? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'd love to hear how you feel about it.